Instructional committee meeting of the Board of Trustees of United ISD will be held Tuesday, November 12, 2019, beginning at, the time is now 12 p.m. The subjects to be discussed or considered or upon which any formal action may be taken are as listed below. Items do not have to be taken in the order shown on this meeting notice. Number one, public comment?
No.
Okay, number two, listed below are the instructional items to be reviewed by the instructional committee with recommendations for action to be made at the next regular board meeting. A, action items to be reviewed at the regular board meeting on November 20th, 2019 with recommendations to be made by the instructional committee. A1, approval of procedures for kinder acceleration using credit by exam.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, board members, Mr. Santos, and the audience. We bring before you for your approval our procedures for kinder acceleration as mandated by Texas Education Agency, where we must develop the procedures and then our board of trustees must approve. So the prerequisites for our procedure for kinder acceleration is that our campus administrators will review the procedures with staff and teachers prior to initiating the process once approved. Students must be age appropriate for kinder of 5 years old as of September 1st. And then requests for credit by exam must be made by the deadline for any of the 4 testing windows as advertised by the guidance and counseling departments. And the student must meet eligibility. And the next slide shows that we've got 2 groups of students. The first group would be students that are enrolled at a private or non-accredited school prior to kinder enrollment at UISD. Campus personnel would administer a reading inventory, and the student must meet a text level of 7 with comprehension at 80% or better and age-appropriate fluency. Once that's met, the campus principal or designee will approve the credit by exam request. We will place the student in first grade if the student meets the 80% or higher in both reading and math. The student will then be placed based on the timeline for acceleration. The other group of students are the ones that have been enrolled in United ISD for pre-kinder or in kinder. The kinder or pre-kinder teacher will complete the teacher recommendation for credit by exam. The student must meet a text level 7 with comprehension at 80% or better and age-appropriate fluency. And the campus principal or designee must approve the credit by exam request. Once we administer the exam, if the student scores 80% or higher in both the reading and the math, then the student will be placed in the first grade according to the district timeline. The next slide shows our teacher recommendation form, and we are again requesting that the teacher include the current text level, comprehension, fluency, the request for acceleration grade, the date of the next testing window, and then there are some academic traits that we are asking the teachers to let us know. And all of this has to do with not only the academic, but the social and emotional preparedness for the student to be accelerated a whole year. We ask that the teacher describe the student as a learner, describe the way that the students would benefit, and then finally, based on this reflection that the teacher will have, the teacher will either recommend for credit by exam testing or will not, and then the principal will approve the final recommendation. Our timeline. Our timeline, by state law mandate, we must provide 4 windows. The first window has to be between January 1st and March 31st. This one kind of coincides with our kinder roundup, our pre-kinder roundup. So we will have a designated time frame within those months, and we will grant acceleration for the upcoming school year. For example, if a pre-kinder or preschool student comes in, meets the eligibility, takes the assessment, then the student will be placed in first grade the following year. In other words, they'll skip kinder. Okay. The next timeline is usually where we capture our students coming in after their year is over. So it's from April 1st through June. During the designated time frame, again, the student will meet eligibility, take the assessment, and if the criteria is met, they'll be placed in first grade and skip entire kinder. The last 2 dates that we have, or 2 windows, I'm sorry, are July 1st through September 30th, and this is right around the beginning of our school year. So again, we will advertise. If the student is eligible, they'll take the CBE. If they meet the criteria, then they will be placed in first grade, and they'll skip all or most of kinder. It just depends on when the testing is completed and we get the results, because we do use Texas Tech for this assessment. And the one that's a little bit more, needs to meet a little bit more stringent criteria is the October 1st through the 31st. And the only reason is that because the first semester is almost complete, by the time that we will get our results, they will be skipping the very first semester of first grade. So we really want to make sure that the students meet all of the criteria before we give the assessment.
Is that rare that you have students entering?
Sometimes we do. It just depends, because sometimes, like if they come in from another city, or they're coming in from, it just depends. Very rare, not often. Mostly we will pick up on most of our students the first two windows, which is right around roundup in March, and then right after school finishes.
And the majority of those are coming from private daycares?
Yes, if they're not with us, because our teachers will recommend the acceleration. We do advertise for the 4 windows throughout the year, so we make sure that parents are aware.
So share with the board on the test, where we're going to,
Yes,
test who administers and all that.
Yeah, the assessment is, once they meet criteria, we purchase the assessments, and then it is a reading and a math test from Texas Tech, and we send the test to be scored. We do not score them in-house, okay? So it's, everything is arranged through the counselor and through the campus administration, and it's usually the counselor that administers the assessments.
And that's accredited by the state, correct?
Yes, it is a state accredited assessment.
So you said social and emotional is also assessed. What instrument is used for that?
Well, we don't necessarily have an instrument, it's an observation, because they have been with our teachers for the whole year, usually. That's when we use the teacher recommendation. And so they have questions like, are they on task? Are they academically motivated? Are they intellectually curious? And then do they show the maturity to be able to go into first grade? Because it is a more rigorous grade level.
Right. Well, that's where I know where your integration model with Head Start comes into play, because we do use a researched model for assessment of social and emotional.
Well, and we do within our curriculum, we do have a social and emotional model that we have incorporated to our scope and sequence. So there will be gathering data from that information, just from that system, just to make sure that, this is what's best for the student.
Sounds good. Any questions? All right, thank you. Moving on to 2.2, approval of revisions to policy EIC local academic achievement class rating.
We bring these revisions before you for approval. They're very, very minor. They are just making sure that we've got fine-tuned the procedures that we have for providing the class ranking. So the first change that we have is that the district shall include in the calculation of class rank semester grades, so that we can make sure that all of the semester grades are in the ranking, and that it will include failing grades. Okay, so that's part of our procedure. And then the next change that we have is now with our current freshmen and our current sophomores, they are able to take AP courses for additional weight. And if they take the AP exam and they meet criteria, they will have additional points added. So the only thing, it was already approved this way, we just detailed that it was 10 points for taking the course, taking and passing the course, and 5 points for taking and meeting criteria on the AP exam. Those are really the only changes that we had, just to be more specific.
Because previous to this change...
Previous to this, we had the tiers,
yes, but were the failing grades not included?
They were included, we just wanted to make sure it was very delineated in our policy.
Okay.
Yes, we've always included all of the grades. All of the grades earned.
No questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on to 2.3, approval of first and final reading of update on DIA exhibit, employee welfare, freedom of of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation.
Good afternoon, members of the board, and to the audience. We just have a minor revision. Minister Cruz, Mr. Bernalesa, is the district designee for ADA and 504 issues and components, so we're just updating that piece.
That was nice. Thank you.
But can you just share with the board, right, that we'll be coming into the full board next week on the possibility of joining the scholarships?
We were approached by the Scholarship Foundation, Steve Lamantia, who runs our organization, and the executive board. And so what they were asking of the district is a commitment from us, an MOU, where we would actually have the opportunity to double the opportunities that our students would get for scholarship opportunities. And so they have about 24, 25 universities or colleges that they have partnered up with, in which that partnering university or college system matches the fund that we provide. So our Partners for Scholars, what we're looking for is probably given about $100,000 to them so that we can have matching scholarship opportunities for our students. So we can hopefully share more, expand the scholarship opportunities for our students, double the amount of students or double the amount of money. So we're working on the procedures on that.
Yeah, that's a tough decision, double the amount or double the students. That's a good dilemma to have, though. Okay, moving on to B, items to be reviewed by the Instructional Committee for information only. 1, CIT Department Fall 2019 updates.
Good afternoon, Ms. Oliveros, Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Santos, and my colleagues. Just elated to share with some news, or I guess an update with regard to the mobile learning device one-to-one initiative that we started this year. We placed Dell Chromebooks, beautiful brand new Dell Chromebooks in the hands of our 8th graders, our 9th graders, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade STEM students at United Middle, grades 9 through 12, the early college, and grades 9 through 11 for the Bio and Life Science Innovative Academy at LBJ. The devices have been very well received, obviously by students, parents, teachers. We did 14 parent presentations in English and Spanish at every single campus, and put ourselves out there for any type of questions or concerns that the parents or even the students might have. It went very well. I can tell you, I was there at all 14 of the presentations. We did those in the evening, and we were very well received by the parents. And the few minor concerns they had, I think we were able to put their minds at ease. We do have tremendous support to the program at the district level, of course, through the Instructional Technology Department, Information Technology, a lot of help from them. Fixed assets, we have a new system for fixed assets that has been amazing for this particular initiative, as well as everything else, but we're really lucky that we have that. It's just made it so much easier. We have campus level support. Every campus has what we refer to as an MLD one-to-one team, and there is an administrator, there is the librarian, the technician, the ITT, and usually a clerk that form that team. And by the first week of, I guess the second week of September, all the devices had been given out. A few devices were pending as of September, and those are children that just had not returned the forms, because every parent had to sign a form for each child that was checking out a device. We have a form. You see before you the form that we used. This was the approved form. Pretty much mentions all of the do's and don'ts, and I think it went very well. I've been doing multiple walkthroughs at the campuses where these initiatives are going strong, and the use is, I could say, as Mr. Perez has probably increased a great deal because the kids are using them every day. The take-home situation has been awesome. I actually have fun visits now at HEB because most people don't have a whole lot of good to say, and all I have heard is good things. So I think we should be very proud of that initiative that you all approved for us.
And the form is more like to keeping the kids accountable, the students accountable, and they're responsible for the device. But Garcia said the parents have been very pleased.
In the 8th grade, the students will use the device and return it for the next group of students. So we'll make a circle. In the 9th grade, the devices are going to be handed to the children, and they will keep it for the rest of the 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, they'll have an option to either keep the device for $20 or return it to the district. So we're hoping that that will inspire them to take good care of the device because they're going to get to keep it at the end of the 4 years.
That is awesome. But I noticed your target population is very likely students who can afford their own device. Do we have any plans for targeting underprivileged population?
Well, this is going to be, everybody got one, every student,
Everybody in
child,
eighth grade?
every child was gen ed before they're anything else, so every child received a device, even our special ed kids got
So
one.
all eighth graders?
All
throughout the
eighth graders,
district?
yes.
All ninth graders?
All
throughout
the district, yes, ma'am.
Well, I am impressed.
Yes.
That is awesome.
All of them. So all I can tell you is that things are going well. The way we have things handled through our management system, we have had no lost devices yet.
Okay.
So I
Because
think
I was
that's pretty impressive.
just looking at ninth grade, it says early college, and then ninth
Well,
grade.
but you saw up above, it just says 8th and 9th. That's all 8th, all 9th.
graders.
And then specifically, we have those additional initiatives where the students take the devices home.
Is this an ongoing opportunity?
Yes. So next year, our 9th graders will become 10th graders, and the new 9th grade cohort will get them. So eventually, we will have them in every grade level at high school. And of course, we're looking into what this data will look like at the end of this year to see if we can start moving the middle school downwards to 7th and to 6th grade as well.
That would be excellent. Does it come with internet services, or that's something they have to have at home?
They use their own at home. The devices are set up, Chromebooks are set up to where they can work offline, and then when they come back to school the following day, it automatically puts everything back up into the cloud for them, and it saves their work. So it's an amazing little device.
Yes, it is. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all for making it happen. Thank you.
And I think that's it, right?
Yes.
So adjournment. Motion to adjourn.